Hello everyone, this is the last week of NinaRibena's Art Journal Prompts and More for 2018, and I want to do a New Year's themed page this week using distress oxides and embossing glitter and all of that kind of thing. But before I start, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's followed me this year and taken part in the prompts. We've had so much fun over in the Facebook group, and for anybody that would like to join us for 2019, then I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. And the way that it works, for those of you who don't know, I set a prompt each month and weekly challenges based on that particular prompt. And we're a very supportive, kind and encouraging group at all levels, beginners to advanced artists. I mean, some of the artwork that's posted is just absolutely fantastic. So thank you once again to everybody who's followed along. I want to do a New Year's themed page today. It seems appropriate, seeing as it's the last page of the year. I'm working on my usual piece of mixed media paper, which measures 7 by 7.5 inches, and I'm starting off by using 4 different colours of distress oxides, which I'm applying with one of the Tim Holtz sponge tools. You'll notice that I'm using a different clean sponge for each of the colours as well, just so that I don't contaminate them. And this takes a bit of working. It looks a bit of a hot mess to start off with, but I want the 4 vibrant colours in my background because I'm going with a bit of a fireworks themed page. And I just keep reapplying the sponges and adding more layers until I get those gorgeous colours just to blend together seamlessly. As I say, it does take a bit of working. You've just got to go backwards and forwards if you want to do this kind of thing. You can see here that, I'd already applied some purple, then I add the other colours, and then I go back to the purple, and it probably takes 3 or 4 layers before it blends together seamlessly, and I get something that I'm happy with. But when I start applying the fireworks with embossing glitter later, you'll see why I've done this. Now I just want to frame my background, and I'm using some black soot distress oxide ink again, and I'm focusing on the corners of the page, applying a little bit to the edges, but primarily focusing on the corners, and this will draw the attention, draw the eye to the centre of the page and brighten the colours in the middle. And again, it takes a couple of layers just so that I get a smooth blend. I'm happy with my background now and the way that I've framed it, and before I start adding any of my fireworks, I'm going to use some of the Tim Holtz Distress Glaze just to set those distress inks. You'll see in a moment that I heat it with my heat tool as well, as I just find that this really helps setting this into the background. I'm going to brighten my background using a bokeh technique. We did this earlier on in the year and you all enjoyed it, and I just thought it would work perfectly with my fireworks page. So I've made some homemade stencils using various sizes of circular craft punches, and I've just chopped them out of craft cardstock. I'm starting off with the larger one and strategically placing a few of these around the outside of my page and one in the centre. And then I come in with another homemade stencil with a couple of smaller size circles, and I'm overlapping in places as well, just trying to get a really random bokeh effect. I just love how this looks. Now you can see here that I'm using the Brilliance archival ink in Moonlight White. I have got a couple of other videos where I show you how to do the bokeh technique, and I also do some testing with various types of different white stamp pads as well, and I'll leave the links to those in the description box below for anybody who's interested in finding out more about bokeh and perhaps trying it out. Now before I start adding any fireworks, I go over my background with a stamp buddy just to get rid of any static. I'm using the Hunky Dory Fantastic Fireworks stamp pad as well, and I start off using my Dovecraft embossing stamp pad. I do find, however, that the embossing glitter is sticking in too many of the areas where I don't want it, and so I switch over shortly and start using my Ranger embossing stamp pad, which does work much better. And I'm just using a soft paintbrush just to get rid of any of that embossing glitter in areas that I don't want it. And I'm giving the back of the page a good thwack as well, which also is a good way to dislodge some of the glitter that sticks where you don't want it. And then finally heat setting it with my heat tool. And I just continue stamping more fireworks in lots of different sizes around the outside of my page to start off with, overlapping some of them as well, just to, create a more random look before I start adding fireworks to the centre of the page as well. I'm using 4 different colours of the Wow embossing glitter: pink, purple, blue and red. And then I do add some fireworks in gold right at the end as well. And you'll see here that I finally switched over to my Ranger embossing stamp pad, and it works so much better for me than the Dovecraft one today. The embossing glitter was sticking with the Dovecraft stamp pad in areas where I just didn't want it, and the Ranger one is much better. So finally just adding some splatters now. I've got my fireworks and I'm happy with that. I'm watering down some of the Sennelier iridescent gold paint, and I'm just applying some splatters to the background. My splatters are dry now, and I just want to add a gold frame to my page. I'm going to use some gold embossing powder again, and this time I'm using the Emboss It Dabber just to apply some embossing ink around the edge. I just find that it's easier than using a stamp pad. I can get it in a straighter line, but either will work. And so I'm just applying some gold embossing powder, which I will again set with my heat tool. And look, you can just see it do its magic. It's just beautiful. And there we are. All 4 edges of my page are done. And to finish my page off, I've die cut the words Happy New Year with my X-Cut alphabet die, which I've embossed in gold embossing powder to match the rest of my page. And I'm just using some PVA glue in a fine tip bottle just to glue everything down. And then I shall weight this down with a heavy book until it's set. So here's my finished page. Look at all of that gorgeous glimmer. I'm really happy with that. Now I did weight the words Happy New Year down with a heavy book, and it just takes a bit longer when you've used distress glaze in your background, but all I used was PVA glue in one of these fine liner bottles, and that's not going anywhere. I know that some of you have had problems with glues when you've used distress glaze, but as I say, I just think it just takes longer to stick when you've used it, that's all. But I just want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a very, very happy new year. And again, just to say thank you to everyone who's followed me this year with NinaRibena's Art Journal prompts. And for anybody who wants to join us for 2019, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. So if you enjoyed this week's page, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, because it just lets YouTube know that you like what I'm doing. And do let me know what you think in the comments below. So have a wonderful new year, and take care, everyone. I'll be back next week with a brand new challenge. Bye for now.